Ladies and gentlemen, it says a lot when NBC News gives Trump the win. David Mark at NBCNews.com, Think, Opinion, Analysis, Essays. The GOP Senate impeachment trial strategy. Okay, Trump's legal team, for good reason, the political grenade Trump threw by announcing his defense counsel star power might not be the approach Republicans wanted, but it just might be the winning one. They're already giving Trump the win. And look, that's even NBC News is an extension, just like CNN, a tiny bit more, a tiny bit less biased. But still, if you have NBC News at this point saying that, well, it just might be the winning strategy. Here you have independent counsel Kenneth Starr sworn in on Capitol Hill prior to testifying before the House Judiciary Committee impeachment hearing on November 19th, 1998. So check that out. Look at that. This isn't what Mitch McConnell wanted. Why not? I love how everything good that takes... everything good that happens to President Trump is spun like, well, they didn't want a great defense team. They didn't want all these wonderful attorneys, Kenneth Starr, Dershowitz, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Then it links to an NBC News article, Trump may discredit an impeachment trial designed to acquit him. Yeah, that's not exactly what Trump is doing, somewhat. But anyway, this isn't what Mitch McConnell wanted. Oh, yes, it was. The Republican Senate Majority Leader from Kentucky has, since the House impeached President Donald Trump on December 18th, made clear his preference that a Senate trial over removing the president be the shortest possible duration and the narrowest scope. After the trial opened Thursday in solemn pomp and ceremony, McConnell and fellow Senate Republicans are now discussing speeding up proceedings to limit the time allowed for opening arguments. There is no... Okay, I'm going to repeat this every day when I do these segments. There is no crime that Trump is accused of having committed. Zero crime. There is no crime that Trump is accused of having committed, and furthermore, there's no direct evidence that Trump withheld military assistance to interfere in the 2020 election. Up until 2016, did you ever hear a political party talking about another country interfering in our electoral process? Never. Democrats are the most petulant, malicious, insidious political. It's the most insidious political organization. They interfered. Why would you assume that another country interfered when the average American found out that Bernie Sanders was cheated, that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign? It's not an interference. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Russia wanted us to know this because they were afraid of Madam Secretary. Yes, because the Uranium One officials who gave money to bribe both Clintons through the Clinton Foundation. Oh, well, there's no direct evidence of that. Yeah, but we know it happened, and we know that Clinton used private servers and deleted 30,000 emails, and also that President Obama failed to veto the sale. Ever wonder why Democrats never say, hey, it was very good that 20% of U.S. uranium capacity at a certain time period was signed off to Putin? Why don't they say that? They keep on saying, oh, Clinton had no ability on her own. Oh, John Huber investigated. He found nothing. He didn't investigate, and the fact that Clinton didn't have the ability to veto the sale on her own is completely irrelevant. At a certain point, you have to put two and two together and say, well, do you think perhaps people gave money into the Clinton Foundation to get to, I don't know, President Obama? I think that's maybe the first time in history that maybe somebody would put two and two together and say, okay, yes, it wasn't President Obama's foundation. It was Hillary and Bill's foundation. But she was the Secretary of State, and they communicated it to each other all the time via email that President Obama knew was on unsecure private servers because he used pseudonyms, and he did communicate with Clinton. And I think it was something like 20 or 30 emails, they say, that President Obama sent to Clinton, which is nonsense, which is absolute nonsense. But here, of course, it would be a lot more than that. But anyway, the Republican Senate Majority Leader from Kentucky has, since the House impeached President Donald Trump on December 18th, made clear his preference that the Senate trial over removing the president be the shortest possible duration and narrowest of scopes. Narrowest scope. After the trial opened Thursday in solemn pomp and ceremony, McConnell and fellow Senate Republicans are now discussing speeding up proceedings to limit the time allowed for opening arguments. Because there's no direct evidence Trump did anything wrong. President Zelensky stated there's no quid pro quo, no leverage, no pressure, no nothing. It's part of the GOP's broader approach to limit the attention paid to the trial, in which the president, 73, faces counts of abuse of power and obstruction of justice, none of which are criminal acts, by the way, related to Ukraine military aid affair. It's only a fair in the disgruntled, maniacal minds of Democrats. For Republican senators, that means no witnesses and breaching established practices to limiting reporters' access to lawmakers in the halls of the Capitol. That's not necessarily true. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are going to be subpoenaed. So there you go. Democrats want witnesses? No problem. I'll raise you John Bolton with. I'll see your John Bolton. And I'll raise you Hunter. How's that? But the Senate Republican scaffolding for a quiet as possible Trump impeachment trial collapsed Friday when the White House announced the president's made-for-TV defense team. Who cares? Why would the megawatt lineup, I love it. The megawatt lineup includes the independent counsel who prosecuted President Bill Clinton's impeachment in 1999, Ken Starr, and successor Robert J. Okay, so Jay Sekulow, Dershowitz, Bondi, White House counsel, Pat. All right, so then you have, moreover, Trump knows better than Republican senators what works politically in the party's base. To always be a fighter, as he learned under the tutelage of McCarthy-era lawyer Roy Cohn. Well, number one, Roy Cohn, okay, the McCarthy era is being duplicated or revisited or rehashed by Democrats. It's Democrats who always bring up Russia. It's Democrats who always bring up Russia. They're the ones who say, Trump worked with Russia, Trump withheld military assistance from Ukraine. They're the ones who blame other countries for their problems. Okay? They're the ones who blame other countries for their problems. So, did Roy Cohn teach them that? No. That's just the way Democrats operate. But the issue here is that you're looking at a Democratic Party that's now afraid of Trump's legal team, specifically Ken Starr, because they also have nightmares of Ken Starr. Oh my goodness. Every day since the late 90s, I believe it was 1998 or 99, I've had these nightmares about one Ken Starr. So they want nothing to do with Ken Starr because he is like he understands the impeachment process. He understands there's no direct evidence of any allegation that Trump withheld military assistance because he's afraid of Hunter Biden and all this nonsense. Ken Starr understands all of this. He also understands what Democrats have to prove. Democrats actually, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is going to come as a surprise to people on the left, you actually have to prove your allegation. In this case, you've had witnesses, there was no witnesses. So tell me the witnesses that John Huber interviewed. Tell me the witnesses that Sessions and John Huber interviewed regarding the Clinton Foundation. With Trump, we have Dr. Fiona Hill, Marie Yovanovitch, what else? Who else? Bill Taylor, all these people. Sondland, there's another guy, and then four, not only disgruntled diplomats, okay? This is hilarious. Now, this is really hilarious. Not only disgruntled diplomats, okay? They also got 4 or 5 scholars, academics, who gave their expert opinion on the Constitution. So, I mean, Democrats, they've gone all out. Republicans, up until William Barr and John Durham, who have been flying across the world interviewing people, and who media are absolutely against. You can tell if you're over the mark when media starts writing disparaging articles, hit pieces. They did the same thing to me in 2015 and 2016. I didn't care. And then that's when I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Then when I was a Trump supporter, they did the same thing also. So they don't care. See, Democrats are really interesting. They want a certain slice of the political spectrum. That's it. That's it. If it's not the I'm with her crowd, or if it's not funneling votes into the I'm with her crowd. So there are a lot of people who talk a big game. Oh yeah, Medicare for all. At the end of the day, they'll vote for Clinton because they don't want to be a tiki torch Russian operative. So they're not going to get hit pieces. You can tell if somebody is actually doing a great job, if the Daily Beast, if Raw Story, if all these other publications obsess over them. They wrote about me in hit pieces, so you could tell I was doing a good job. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. I wasn't that big of a threat to Democrats, but I was a threat. I was a tiny, tiny little threat. So they went after me. They found nothing. Because that's what they do. They go after people. They try to silence people. They try to marginalize anyone who doesn't toe the party line. My voice grew stronger. Okay? Your voice is growing stronger. They try to marginalize you. Media, if you're voting for President Trump, they try to marginalize you. They try to silence you. And now your voice is growing stronger through Trump. Democrats don't get this. They're like, oh my God, he's a cult leader. No, the cult is actually the Democratic Party and Hillary. You just watch. Since 2017, I stated the same thing. Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. I wrote about that. In the Huffington Post. The article's below. But here goes on to talk about how at the end of the day, his legal strategy is probably going to have Trump either vindicated or win, whether it's what the founders intended. The founders didn't intend for the intelligence community to take out a president, God forbid, or to try to remove a president through impeachment. Okay, the founders. Whether it's what the founders intended when they considered how to deal with a rogue president. Oh, the rogue president. He's rogue. He's gone rogue. He's withholding military assistance because the No Malarkey bus tour is so frightening to Trump. Oh, my God, he's gone rogue. He doesn't care about Biden. Biden's not going to be nominee. If it's Biden, Democrats are obliterated. And if it's Biden, Democrats do not get the popular vote. Biden is about as motivating. He gives the average American as much inspiration as watching paint dry. If you watched paint dry, you just look at dry, like wet paint, and watch it dry, you'd actually be more motivated to do things in life than listen to Biden. It's like a horrendous experience listening to Biden. Or it's either amusing or boring or horrendous. It's amusing because it's like, lotion, I'll tell you something, lotion, leg hairs, erect. What? Why do I need to listen to this? Biden, he doesn't... Democrats are not going to pick Biden because they can't possibly win with Biden. It's a possibility, although not an eventuality, that Clinton could win. It's a possibility, yeah. She'll lose. It's a possibility Clinton could win. They have no chance with Biden. Like, zero chance. Just because you win the Democratic primary doesn't mean you're going to win the election, just like we saw with Clinton. Clinton, though, got close. She can raise the money. Now, she won't win, but she'll raise enough money to get closer than Biden. The Democrats know this. But that's why even NBC News is like, look, he's probably going to win. He's probably going to win impeachment. And then this is, whether it's what the founders intended when they considered how to deal with a rogue president. He's a rogue. Trump's Senate impeachment trial figures to be as much of a public spectacle as a solemn dispensing of duty. What? Anytime that's the case, it works to Trump's advantage, at least so far. What is this? Trump's Senate impeachment trial figures to be as much of a public spectacle as a solemn dispensing of duty. A solemn dispensing of duty? A public spectacle is my solemn. Oh, so solemn. Oh, Pelosi, I know you didn't want to impeach Trump. That's why you had 50 different pens. Hey, here's a pen for you, a pen for you, a pen for you. They were so happy. I mean, Democrats cheered. This is all they live for. And then NBC News is like, he was probably going to win. Because Trump, this is the way Democrats think, Trump thrives from chaos. He thrives from chaos and mayhem. It's like, no, you're the ones with the neuroses and the eccentricities and the problems. Because you lost. You lost. You lost. Loser. You lost. And you can't get over it. You can't get over the fact that you lost to Trump. Yes, you lost to Trump. And you can't get over that fact. So Democrats are like, oh my God, he's creating so much chaos. Did you see what he tweeted? Oh my gosh. They obsess over Trump's personality. Meanwhile, the country's doing great. A lot better economically and a lot better in terms of foreign policy than, what happened with, thank God but what happened with war with Iran? Oh, that's right. It was the same thing that happened pertaining to war with North Korea. None of it ever took place. Democrats actively hope for the demise of the country. This is unbelievable. I've never seen this before. I've never seen this in my life. They hope the economy goes into recession. They hope we get into a widespread military conflict. Please, anything from Trump's personality. But it ain't going to work. Trump keeps winning. The country keeps prospering. Record low Black and Latino unemployment. The unemployment rate for Hispanic and Latino men is below the national average, thank God. And it's like, keeps winning. Democrats keep losing. Trump keeps winning. The country keeps winning. Democrats keep losing. And even NBC News is like, NBC News, Trump will win impeachment. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. The link is below. Subscribe to that. Tell everyone you know about H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a very poignant, important segment regarding if you've lost friends from being a Trump supporter, watch that segment, share that segment. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and description.